there are 5 huge changes coming to Boise, Idaho. If you're thinking about buying in Boise in 2026 without understanding what's about to change, you're making a very expensive mistake. The biggest shifts in real estate don't happen when projects open. They happen years earlier when infrastructure, investments, development pipelines, and zoning changes quietly reshape demand. By the time most people notice what's new, prices have already adjusted. That's how buyers overpay in neighborhoods that peaked 2 years ago. Homeowners miss the equity they could have protected, and relocators end up in areas that don't match how Boise actually works in 2026. Right now, Boise is in the middle of changes that will permanently alter how people choose neighborhoods, commute to work, and experience daily life here. And if you're not paying attention to what's coming, you're already behind. I'm Barb Dopp. I've spent years helping people relocate to and navigate Boise through multiple market cycles, and I track development, infrastructure, and zoning as closely as I track pricing data. I'm not here to hype projects or guess at trends. I'm here to explain which changes actually matter, who benefits, and which surrounding areas are likely to shift before most people catch on. So in this video, I'm breaking down the 5 huge changes coming to Boise in 2026. Not just what's being built, but why it matters, how it affects your commute, your property value, and where you should actually be looking if you want to position yourself ahead of the market. If this kind of strategic breakdown is helpful, go ahead and hit that button and subscribe so you don't miss future updates. Let's get into it. Number 1, the commute game changer. Let's start with the infrastructure project that's going to change how the entire western corridor of the Treasure Valley functions, the 10 Mile Interchange. This isn't just another road widening, this is a complete reconstruction of one of the most congested bottlenecks between Boise and Meridian. We're talking about a project that directly affects how people move between the 2 largest cities in the valley every single day. Right now, if you live in Western Meridian or Eastern Nampa and you work in Boise, that 10-mile corridor is brutal during rush hour. It's slow, unpredictable, and it shapes where people are willing to live. The interchange rebuild changes that calculation. Here's what actually happens when commute friction gets reduced. First, neighborhoods that felt too far suddenly feel closer. Western Meridian, parts of Eagle, near the Chinden corridor, even pockets of Nampa near the freeway access, they all start to feel more connected to Boise than the employment hubs. Second, buyers who were filtering out these areas because of commute concerns start reconsidering, and that demand shift happens before the construction is even finished. Markets price in future convenience, not just the current convenience. Third, property values in the western corridor start closing the gap with central Boise and central Meridian. It's not instant, but it's predictable. Reduced commute friction gets capitalized into home prices faster than most people expect. So who benefits from paying attention to this now? Buyers who are willing to look slightly west and can see past short-term construction disruption. Homeowners in Western Meridian or Eagle who are sitting on equity that may not realize is about to accelerate. And investors who understand that infrastructure improvements move pricing before most people notice the change. This project has a real timeline, real funding, and real impact. That's why it's first on the list. Change number 2, the Affordability Reset. Let's talk about something that's not getting enough attention, the massive residential development surge happening in Nampa. Nampa is in the middle of the largest housing supply expansions in the Treasure Valley. New subdivisions, master plan communities, and multifamily projects are delivering thousands of units over the next 18 to 24 months. And this isn't speculative. This is real construction with real timelines. And here's why that matters beyond just more houses. First, Nampa is absorbing demand that used to automatically go to Meridian or Boise. Buyers who would have stretched their budget to stay in Meridian are now looking at brand new construction in Nampa at a significantly lower price point. That shift is already happening. Second, Nampa is improving its retail, dining, and daily convenience infrastructure. New grocery stores, restaurants, and services are following the rooftops. That's not instant. It takes 12 to 18 months after housing delivers, but it is predictable. And once that daily convenience improves, the perception of Nampa changes. Third, Nampa is no longer the budget backup plan. It's becoming a legitimate first choice for young families, first-time buyers, and relocators who want space and value without sacrificing access to employment centers. According to recent data, the Nampa Development Services Department residential permits have surged significantly, with thousands of new units projected to come online through 2026. This level of supply is reshaping the affordability conversation around the entire valley. So who should be paying attention? First-time buyers who want new construction and value. Families who prioritize space over proximity to downtown Boise, and long-term investors who understand that Nampa is in the early phase of a major lifestyle upgrade that will get priced in over the next 3 to 5 years. Nampa's supply surge isn't just adding houses, it's resetting the affordability map for the entire Treasure Valley. Change number 3, the Eagle Island State Park expansion and waterfront development. Now let's talk about something that's flying under the radar for most buyers. The Eagle Island State Park expansion and surrounding waterfront development is happening along the Boise River corridor. Eagle Island is one of the most underutilized recreational assets in the Treasure Valley, and that's changing. The state park expansion is bringing improved amenities, better access, and more developed recreational infrastructure. And when you improve recreational access, you change the value equation for surrounding neighborhoods. Here's the pattern. Waterfront access and parks proximity drive demand in ways that surprise people. Buyers pay a premium for walkable or bikeable access to trails, open space, and water. It's not just about the view, it's about daily lifestyle. And neighborhoods near Eagle Island are about to benefit from that proximity in ways they haven't historically. The northern Eagle and western Boise neighborhoods along the river corridor are starting to see renewed interest. Properties that were considered too far or too quiet are now being reevaluated by buyers who prioritize outdoor access and quality of life over being close to downtown. So let's take a quick pause here. If you're trying to figure out where Boise is actually heading and which neighborhoods are positioned for growth in 2026, I put together a free Boise relocation guide that breaks down in a very practical way what's happening. We've already done the work for you. Neighborhood and lifestyle breakdowns, it's 100% free. And if you're buying, selling, or just deciding whether to move, reach out. It's free. It's linked below, and it gives you context most buyers don't have early enough. Just check the link below. Now let's keep going. Change number 4, downtown Boise redevelopment and the Main Street revitalization. All right, let's talk about downtown Boise, because the narrative that downtown is dying is completely wrong. What's actually happening is more interesting. Downtown Boise is in the middle of a major revitalization cycle. New mixed-use projects, residential conversions, and streetscape improvements are fundamentally changing who lives downtown and how it functions. This isn't just aesthetic. This is structural. For years, downtown Boise was primarily office and government focused. It was a place people worked, not where they lived. That's changing fast. New residential projects are bringing a permanent population downtown, and that changes everything. Coffee shops that used to close at 3 p.m., they stay open later. Restaurants open, retail follows. A nighttime population stabilizes the district in a way office workers never could. The Main Street corridor is also seeing significant investment, improved walkability, better transit connections, and new retail anchors are making downtown Boise more livable and less transactional. And that shift attracts a different buyer profile. Who's moving downtown right now? Empty nesters who want to downsize but stay central. Remote workers who want walkability without needing a yard. Young professionals who prioritize being close to dining, entertainment, and cultural amenities over having a big house in the suburbs. And here's the thing. Most people are still using 2019 assumptions about downtown Boise. They think it's just offices and parking garages. But the market is already shifting, and buyers who recognize this early are positioning themselves in a neighborhood that's about to have a major identity upgrade. Downtown Boise isn't declining, it's transforming. And that transformation is going to get priced in faster than most people expect. Change number 5, the long-term demand driver. And finally, let's talk about the biggest long-term demand driver in the Treasure Valley that most people still aren't fully accounting for, the Micron expansion. Micron's massive investment in its Boise facilities isn't just a headline. It's a multi-billion-dollar commitment that's bringing thousands of high-paying jobs to the valley over the next several years. And those jobs don't just show up, they reshape housing demand across every price tier. Here's what actually happens when a major employer expands at this scale. First, rental demand spikes before ownership does. Incoming employees rent first while they figure out the market. That rental pressure tightens inventory and pushes rents higher, which then makes ownership more attractive for people who can afford it. Second, buyer demand clusters around specific corridors. Micron employees want reasonable commutes to the west side of Boise and Meridian. Neighborhoods along the I-84 corridor, the Chinden corridor, and parts of Eagle near quick freeway access become disproportionately attractive. Third, affordability becomes a real constraint for the market. If you're adding thousands of well-paid professionals to a market that's already supply-constrained, prices go up. Not everywhere equally, but in the neighborhoods that offer the best combination of commute access and livability. According to Micron's public announcements and economic impact studies, this expansion represents one of the largest private investments in Idaho history. The employment growth isn't speculative, it's already happening, and the housing market is responding in real time. So who needs to be thinking about this? Buyers who want to position themselves near employment hubs before prices fully adjust. Homeowners in western Boise, Meridian, and Eagle who are sitting on equity that's likely to accelerate. And investors who understand that long-term job growth is the most reliable driver of sustained housing demand. The Micron expansion isn't just a corporate story, it's a housing demand story. And if you're not factoring it into your 2026 strategy, you're missing the biggest structural tailwind in the Treasure Valley. Quick wrap-up. So those are the 5 huge changes coming to Boise in 2026. The 10 Mile Interchange that's rewriting commute logic for the Western Valley, the Nampa housing surge that's resetting affordability, the Eagle Island expansion that's changing how people value waterfront access, the downtown revitalization that's attracting a completely new buyer profile, and Micron expansion that's driving long-term demand across every price tier. These aren't just projects on a map. They're shifts that are changing where people want to live, how much they're willing to pay, and which neighborhoods are positioned for the most upside. Markets move when behavior changes, not when ribbons get cut. And if you're paying attention to these changes now, you're positioning yourself ahead of the market, not chasing it. If you're thinking about buying, selling, or relocating to Boise and you want help, think through how these changes affect your plan. You can schedule a call with my team using the link below. We don't do pressure. We help people make strategic decisions in a market that's changing fast. And if you want to understand which Boise neighborhoods you should actually be considering in 2026, make sure you grab my free Boise relocation guide. Again, it's linked below, and it covers everything we talked about today in much more detail. Finally, if you want to see where the best value is in the Treasure Valley right now, watch this next.